afternoon and welcome to my video. I'm using this picture of my children and a heart-shaped die along with this Black Market Paper Society paper from 2009, and I'm trying to finish off this crepe paper collection. It's called Heart Day. I think it's from about 2017, so I've got the paper pad and a few little bits and pieces that I'm going to use today, and I seem to have quite a bit of the sticker set left. Not really sure why that is, but we'll get using that today. Let's take off the branding strip here, and I'm using this side of the paper, and now I'm going to cut out some hearts with my sidekick. And you see here, you secure it to the table, and then you choose your die and you place it on your paper wherever you want to cut. So I'm going to be cutting out a whole load of these. You don't really need to watch me do this, so I'm going to come back once I've got them all cut out. So here we are again. Here's the picture of my children, and I've cut out lots of different hearts in different papers. I found that dark green because I thought it went nicely with the collection, and I've also found a plain green which goes well with a little bit of the collection as well, although the green was only a little strip of paper. So the hearts aren't fully cut out. I'm going to use the packaging technique with my Shimmers paint in It's Meant to Be. We water this down, and I'm just going to pop this in a few places. Knowing where I'm putting my hearts, I am focusing on going around the outside edge, picking up a little bit more of the paint from where it's really thick there, and layering a bit more down, and using my heat gun just to dry it all off so that I can come straight in and start working. So this adds a lovely shimmer to the paper. Now I'm going to take off the strip off the side of the photograph. Shout out to Dave here. I know you were concerned last time about the photograph. I've remembered to cover up the children's faces this time, so I think you will be pleased. So now I'm going to lay these hearts around. So come in first. Oh no, then I've decided that I'm going to apply some foam pads to lift the photograph up so that my hearts can go flat and some can go higher up. You notice I've got some funny shaped bits of double-sided foam here. That's because earlier I was cutting out a shaker card, so I'm using sort of the offcuts from that. So having stuck the photograph down, I'm going to come on in with these hearts, using these green ones first, where as I say, they're not a whole heart, so I need to think about where they're going to be positioned on my page before I go in with everything else. I'm going to layer a few of those down. Potentially I might cover them up as I go along and do this page. But I'm going to just start layering these up. Some I'm going to put flat on the page, and some I'm going to put a little bit over the photograph, and others I'm sort of going to tuck in and under. So I'm not putting the glue fully on the heart. I'm just putting it mostly in the middle so that if I need to, I'm able to poke some of the other hearts as I go along and as I build this up underneath. So as you see me putting down the foam as well, I tend to put that just in the middle so that I know where I'm going. Now I'm just sorting out these hearts so that I've got no two the same near one another, and so that I'm spreading out a bit of the colour and the patterns in them, and just getting all of these down. I want, as I say, not to hide too much of it. I want them all to show as if they're hearts, so that you can see some part of the heart rather than covering them all up. But I'm just building up this all the way around. It's going to go all the way around my picture. This collection I actually have had for a little while, and used all of the big 12 by 12 pages, but still had quite a bit of the 6 by 6 pages left. So this is a nice way of using it. The 6 by 6 also have a smaller pattern, so they're the same as the 12 by 12, but the pattern is just reduced in size. So that's quite nice as well, because then when you cut things out of it, you don't get a whole lot of the same. As you can see, those hearts on the left hand side there, I cut 2 of them at the top there from the big 12 by 12 and the other one from the 6 by 6. So the X and O are smaller in the 6 by 6, but essentially it is the same pattern. So that's why it's nice to have a mixture of the papers, because sometimes you want the pattern but you don't want to use a lot of it, so you want it in a smaller form. So that's quite a nice use of the 6 by 6 paper packs. As you can see me putting down these hearts, you can see that where I did my shimmers paint, you're able to still see that. I am filling in the gap where I didn't put any colour down in here. So this is not the page I had intended for doing today. I actually was going to do like a shaker page, but I was having trouble with the shaker. It just wasn't working the way I wanted. A bit of a mental block, I guess, for today, and I just couldn't really get my head around what I was supposed to be doing, or what I wanted to do, I guess. And so I've sort of put that to one side to do another day and show you how to make one of those shaker cards. But as I say, when you've got offcuts, when you've cut out something and you've got offcuts of double-sided foam, I always keep them to put in my little box where I have my foam pads, because it is silly to waste the offcuts when you can use them like I'm doing here, just to raise things up a little bit. The only thing I find with the offcuts is they can be a bit of a bugbear to peel the backing off, because of course you've had the double-sided foam through a cutter. I'll put it through my Cricut. So it's kind of mashed it up a little bit and cut it so that it's not sitting as flat as it is as if you just cut it neatly with a pair of scissors, because the Cricut pushes it when it's cutting it, so it isn't as easy to peel off sometimes. So I was struggling a little bit with that. I like these, wanting to put in a little bit more of the mint green hearts in, so I'm just thinking about how to position those so that you can't tell that they're not a full heart. I have to say, after I did this page and showed it to my husband, he quite liked it, but he thought there was a little bit too much green on it. I really wanted to use this backing sheet here. I've had this in my stash for a long time, and I look at it and I kind of think a little bit of yuck because it is just brown and a bit grungy, and even when I do sort of grungy, I tend not to do browns, but I actually like the way this is coming along. So I had already worked out what I was going to use on this sticker set. So I'm using the word love, and then a little sticker that says you and me. And there's some quite cute little hearts that have faces. Now I wanted to put that spotty heart because there are spotty hearts on the picture of my children. It's part of the Snapchat filter. So that kind of ties that in, and it brings a little bit more black up to the top. So you've got the writing, but you've got a little bit more at the top there. And to add a little bit more of an element, and my children are my stars, so I'm coming in with some quite thick wooden stars that are cut out in different shapes. You can see me prepping off my sheet, my glossy accents, so as not to, when you're trying to get the glue to the nib, if it sits the right way up, the glue sits across the bottom of the bottle, and when you tip it upside down it takes a little while. I'm sure we've all had a little bit of an accident with things like ketchup in the same vein, and I don't want a ketchup splatter glossy accents all over my page, so I kind of prime it off my sheet. I think I've mentioned that before. So I'm putting in a few more hearts now. I'm thinking about don't have a lot to say about the photograph. It's just a cute little Snapchat photograph of my children. So I'm just sort of thinking I'll put the wording down the bottom, or will I put it to the right of those stars at the bottom? So I've decided I'm going to put it at the very bottom, and I'm putting in 3 little lines there, and I go in with this brown pen, but you actually can't see it very well, so I change and I go for a black, and I just write, "For all your fighting, you both love each other very much." And I think that kind of says it all, really. And as always, the last thing for my page is to put on my cat. So there goes the cat, and we'll pop that on there, and we are finished for today. I really like the way this turned out. It started off a bit bland, and then it's really lovely with all these colours of these hearts. Hope you enjoy watching, and I will see you next week. Thank you very much.